about set to start the third quarter from San Antonio, the Valero Alamo Bowl. First half, not necessarily dominated in every facet by Oklahoma State, but certainly dominated on the scoreboard. The Cowboys up on Arizona 23-7 as we get set to start the third quarter. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer, Jen Brown working the sideline. You know, guys, Arizona actually outgained Oklahoma State in the first half. They took 6 of their 7 possessions into Cowboy territory, but only 7 points thanks to miscues and turnovers, Craig.
2-1 in time of possession. Arizona kept the ball away from Oklahoma State. Now Arizona has to come out and find a way to get points on this opening possession. When they get the football, go down the field, they've got to stop shooting themselves in the foot. They've got to play football, relax, go out and finish off opportunities when they come your way.
On the flip side, very impressed with Oklahoma State, their mindset coming into this football game. They had a heartbreaking loss the last game of the regular season against their in-state rival Oklahoma. They look like they're excited to be playing in this football game. They're flying around on defense. They've had 2 interceptions. They recovered a fumbled punt. Justin Blackman already has 95 receiving yards. This, to me, looks like a team that's trying to do something for the first time. They're trying for an 11th win. That'd be the first time in school history they've ever done that. They are playing inspired football.
And if Blackman can get 5 more yards receiving in the second half, he'll be the first guy to have a touchdown and 100 yards receiving in 12 consecutive games. He's currently tied with Aaron Turner, the former Pacific receiver, with 11 straight such games. Second half underway, and it is Cobb on the return for the Wildcats. A little bit of running room, and he's knocked down just across the 30-yard line as we take a look at our expert breakdown brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
Arizona's not going to get in this game until they can somehow control the defensive line of Oklahoma State. A 3-man rush most of the time, putting all the pressure in there. Then you're throwing into 8-man coverage. It's just not been a well-orchestrated blocking scheme up front.
Oklahoma State has registered 4 sacks on Nick Foles, and that's forced Nick Foles to play out of rhythm. He hasn't been extremely accurate. He needs to play faster, both physically and mentally, because there are big plays to be had.
First play of the second half from scrimmage for Arizona. They keep it on the ground with Nick Grigsby. Last year in the Holiday Bowl, Arizona was blistered by Nebraska 33-0. In that game, he was only 9 of 30, didn't throw for 50 yards, and didn't have a touchdown. Performance has been somewhat better tonight. The 2 interceptions obviously marring his performance in the first half.
Yeah, and Mike Stoops was even talking to us 3 weeks ago about that game and how they didn't show up and that they would be ready in this game. They just haven't executed tonight.
Greg Nwoko, he was hit immediately by Sean Lewis. And you haven't seen much of Sean Lewis this year. He's a freshman All-American. He is going to be a star at linebacker, a guy that defensive coordinator Bill Young is very high on.
Co-Big 12 freshman defensive player of the year. But what Bill Young loves is that during bowl week, the 3 weeks of preparation, he's already started to become a vocal leader on this defense and on this team. He's going to be a guy that this defense rallies around for years to come in Stillwater.
It's early in the second half, but this would seem to be a rather important third down for Arizona. Trying to build some momentum. And another mistake. Philip Garcia might have moved early, the right tackle.
False start, number 67 on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards, still third down.
Penalties have killed this football team. They're averaging 7 per game. It's 95th in the country, but it's the most penalized team Mike Stoops has coached here at Arizona in 7 years.
And it's the timeliness of them. I mean, you know, it's like they've had 3 of those kind of calls right there where you're third and manageable, and all of a sudden you back it up and it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10 or 12.
Oklahoma State on the season hasn't been great on third down defense, 97th in the country, but Arizona's had a tough time tonight. Foles firing into traffic, and a big hit delivered by Johnny Thomas, and now the flag's going to come in, and that is likely going to be the 4th personal foul penalty against Oklahoma State tonight.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, he went into the body of the receiver, ball over his head, defenseless player here.
I think for the most part, guys, the referees have done a good job of helping these defensive players in this game. You know, when I saw it live, I didn't think that football was very catchable. From that angle, I don't know. I mean, the receiver certainly gives up on it, but again, if you're Johnny Thomas, you're defenseless. You got to pull off.
There is no foul on the play for a contact above the shoulder. Incomplete pass.
Okay, so the officials got together, talked it over, and decided to wave off the flag. That's David Smith of our Conference USA crew. And it's a tough thing because officials want to err on the side of player safety. And now Mike Stoops, who was very unhappy with the officials at the end of the first half, although the replay showed he really didn't have reason to be on the offensive pass interference call that went against Arizona. He is more than displeased with the guys in stripes picking up that flag. Frustration starting to show for the Wildcats. Keenan Cryer will punt it away. He gets off a good one. It's going to drive Josh Cooper inside his 20. He is wrestled to the ground almost immediately by Cobb. Capital One Bowl Week continues Thursday night on ESPN, 6:40 Eastern Time. TJ Yates in North Carolina taking on Tennessee as Derek Dooley gets his team to the postseason in his first year at the helm of the Vols. And then a rematch of a regular season game between Washington and Nebraska in the Bridgepoint Education Holiday.
Exception taken back for a touchdown that got called back in that first meeting against Nebraska. He'll have to play much better the second time around.
Yeah, will Nebraska be ready to play in this game? That's the question.
The draw, Hunter. And Hunter in the first half, negative yards running. This from the nation's 8th leading rusher. He's averaging nearly 6 yards per carry, went over 1,500 yards, led the Big 12. And he has been unable to get anything going on the ground tonight against the Wildcats.
Yeah, maybe I jinxed him. We were walking out with him through the tunnel in the game. I said, hey, Kendall Hunter, you're going to have 300 tonight? And he had a great smile and a laugh to him.
Oh, man.
Just tell him to give you the football.
Giving it to him 4 times. They've lost 3 yards. Whedon fires it right into the hands of Bo Bowling. He can't hang on as we check in with Jen Brown.
I talked to Mike Gundy coming out at the half, and he said his biggest concern was on offense. He doesn't feel like they're getting into any sort of a rhythm. He did point out that they could definitely improve on third down conversions where they're just 2 of 7. And right now we can see if they do that right here on this play.
Yeah, you know what? And it's hard to get a real rhythm when you only have the ball 10 minutes in that first half. Just didn't have it that often.
Had a 1-play touchdown drive. They had an interception for a touchdown that kept the offense off the field. Whedon steps up in the face of pressure, and this time Bowling makes a nice grab. He'll be knocked down short of the first down. Trevin Wade on the coverage. Now, Justin Blackmon's drawing a lot of attention here from Arizona. That's a big-time hit from Adam Holland. Did that fall into your jurisdiction on the previous play of a cheap shot?
Absolutely. How'd they get away with that? That's crazy.
So you've seen some personal fouls go the other way, but the officials obviously didn't have their eyes trained on that one as Blackmon came across the middle.
Yeah, you know what? It's not a blow to the head. It's beneath the head, but I mean, still, that's a cheap shot.
So it'll be 4th down and 3. Arizona will get it back, trying to get back into the game. We come back to San Antonio. On ESPN3.com, on your phone, or available on ESPN Radio as well. Dan Bailey doing the punting tonight for Oklahoma State. David Douglas comes racing up to the 40, makes the fair catch. So Arizona will have very good field position. An opportunity to try to get back into the game, down 16 after the 29-yard punt. Remember, Bailey, normally a place kicker, filling in for Quinn Sharp, an All-American punter who is ruled academically ineligible. On New Year's Day, this is what we have for you on the family of networks. We'll start with the Ticket City Bowl, Northwestern and Texas Tech on ESPNU. Florida and Penn State, and I don't say this
Forward to watching that ball game.
Nick Grigsby, a good gain on first down. He's going to pick up about 8.
This defense has to be very conditioned. When you play for an offense that's as explosive as Oklahoma State, they either score very quickly or they go 3 and out and they're off the field. And defensive coordinator Bill Young told us that was one of the problems. They have to substitute a lot of guys, and it's no different tonight. They've only held the football for just under 12 minutes. This defense, they're tired. They played a lot of snaps.
Now, just like that last run there by Grigsby, it just takes one explosive play to get Arizona back into the game.
Quick out to Douglas. First down and more. Douglas inside the 40. Corey Lemon raced him down, and they'll mark him down just inside the 30-yard line, and the Wildcats are threatening.
Jerron Kreiner at wide receiver makes this play go. Watch him get a block on true freshman Jonathan McKnight. He's able to just tangle him up. That allows the player to get back in the backfield. Sorry, that was Andrew McGee that he got blocked. But just great job on the perimeter of the field, allowing Douglas to make some yardage after the catch in the slot position.
Quickly this time to Kreiner. Made a block, this time gets the ball, but a minimal gain. Roderick Brown was the first to hit him. Coming over to help was Gent.
Yeah, this goes back to that point where we talked about in the first half that Arizona's a lot better when they have rhythm and when there's a tempo, right? Yeah. You know, you get up there and you snap it and it's going, it's moving.
You're not allowing the defense to substitute. You can't make a lot of different calls. You can almost control and predict what certain coverages they play. A lot more predictable.
Arizona has now run 23 more plays in Oklahoma State, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
You got to trust your speed on that you're faster than the end man of the line of scrimmage. Grigsby's got to stay to the outside. He can outrun containment there. And I know Jamie Blacknick, number 50, he's a good player, and he had contained, and he can run, but he can't run with Grigsby.
Well, that's Johnny Thomas, who's down for Oklahoma State, starting safety, the junior from Texas City, Texas, who had an interception in the first half against Nick Foles to stop an Arizona scoring threat.
You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of familiarity in this football game amongst coaches. And Seth Luttrell, the co-offensive coordinator for Arizona, coached with Oklahoma State Bill Young for 3 years at Kansas. We're seeing this kind of cat and mouse game between these two coaches, very familiar with each other and their styles, going back and forth in this game.
Yeah, and I think Seth even said that he was there one time when Young was a coach and he was a player.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Luttrell played at Oklahoma. But, man, Bill Young is a heck of a defensive coordinator. He's been around a lot of football. When he came here, he has really turned the attitude from let's hope we do well to really let's play well and make plays.
And one of his guys who's been making plays tonight and pretty much all year for him, Johnny Thomas, is on his feet and headed to the sideline. You know, those coaching ties extend in all different directions. Several of the guys versed in the Texas Tech system. Even Dana Holgerson and Arizona's co-offensive coordinator, Bill Biedenbaugh, they were college teammates at Iowa Wesleyan. So familiarity runs very deep in some quarters on the coaching staff.
Holgerson also coached with Seth Luttrell at Texas Tech. He also coached with Arizona's wide receiver coach, Dave Nickel, at Texas Tech.
Foles setting up the screen to Grigsby. And Nick stays on his feet to get down to close to the 25. Roderick Brown knocks him down. They'll mark him between the 25 and 26, and that first down stick is right on the 20. So they'll bring up a 4th down, and Alex Dejas, who missed earlier tonight, will come on to try a field goal for the 2nd time. And Dejas, after the miss earlier, 13 of 17. He missed from 47. This one's from 42. Zendejas puts it up, and he puts it through. And the Oklahoma State fans at the moment would be in better moods for such activities. Arizona just got a field goal to cut it to 23-10. Cats will kick it away. It'll be the freshman Justin Gilbert. Gilbert, who last year was a 100-meter sprint champion in high school in Texas, gets it out close to the 30. He's stopped by Jake Fisher. So now we'll have another look at this Oklahoma State offense guided by Dana Holgerson. He's in his final game as the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He'll move on to West Virginia next year and be the offensive coordinator there for a year before taking over for Bill Stewart as the head coach in 2012. What was your reaction to the arrangement and the ways that they're handling the transition in Morgantown?
I think this will work only because Bill Stewart is a West Virginia guy who loves his university and is going to do whatever he has to do to make sure that his personal interests don't interfere with the transition of this deal.
Personal interest of Josh Cooper is picking up a 1st down on the end around. First carry of the night. He's going to hobble off the field, a 15-yard run for the wide receiver.
It's amazing watching this offense, how they're able to get to different types of plays that are just extensions of the run game, whether it's swing passes, screens, reverses the wide receivers. truly multiple, finding different ways to get guys the ball in space.
Actually, Cooper wanted to get off the field. They couldn't because they're going to a quick tempo. And now the best run of the night for Kendall Hunter. 2 running plays, 2 first downs in this Oklahoma State offense, which hasn't scored since the first quarter, has back-to-back 15-yard runs, and they're in cat territory.
It's just a matter of time. If you run the football, if you give the ball to Kendall Hunter, he will find a way to get 100 yards. The guy is outstanding.
And again, a little shuffle. They ran this earlier to Tracy Moore. Moore is inside the 35-yard line. Anthony Wilcox on the stop.
It's just fun to watch. We don't see those types of plays each and every week. Dana Holgorsen finding different ways to get different players involved.
And you know what you notice? And you know what you notice also? He feels that he has his foot on the throat of Arizona defense right now. He's getting them to the line of scrimmage, and they're snapping the ball.
There's Jeremy Smith, who had a touchdown run, the first one of the night. He gets down to the 30. That'll be enough for another Pope first down.
It's a big offensive line for Oklahoma State. They average 309 pounds per person. They actually outweigh the Arizona defensive line by an average of 36 pounds per player. So you expect them to be able to come off the ball and drive Arizona back a little bit.
Inverted wishbone look. Play fake. Whedon fires right on the money, and it is caught by Blackman.
Now, see, Reese, this is the difference in Brandon Whedon when we saw him against A&M and now. When he steps up and makes that throw, you see how hard and firm the ball was on time. That Nick Foles hasn't made this throw. It was picked. You know, the ball's coming, and there right now.
Hunter is knocked down, and by the way, with that last catch, Blackman goes over 100 yards. He had a touchdown earlier in the night. 12 consecutive games he's played with at least 100 yards and a touchdown. That is an NCAA record. What a marvelous season this redshirt sophomore receiver's had. Throwing to the end zone to Blackman. It's knocked away. Robert Golden on the coverage.
This is a ball that Justin Blackman comes down with 10 out of 10 times. You know, I'm watching Brandon Whedon, and guys, earlier in the season,
how about 9 out of 10? 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 here.
Help me with my math here.
But earlier in the season, we were watching Brandon Whedon throw balls, and he was very lazy with his legs at times. Mike Gundy said that was a problem with him throwing it. Watching him tonight, he is in rhythm. The ball is coming out beautifully. If he comes down to 10 times out of 10, that means he catches it every time.
Josh Cooper does catch this when he's got a first down. It is first and goal for Oklahoma State. This is a momentum-crunching drive for Oklahoma State because Arizona missed a chance to get a touchdown with the field goal. You get a stop, things are better. Now could be in some trouble. Hunter has it. Kendall is wrapped up, keeps the legs churning to drive it just inside the 5. It'll be second and goal.
And that's what I think is so impressive about Dana Holgorsen, is he understands the feel of a game and how to make the calls. He doesn't just go out throwing the ball. He's got his running game going.
And he calls plays from the sidelines. How many offensive coordinators do you see up in the booth so they can watch the all-22 and see everybody running around? He's there on the sideline with a great feel, like you say, Craig. It's truly remarkable to me when coaches can do that.
The give again to Smith. Smith was looking for his second touchdown of the night, tried to cut it back up in there. He was stopped by Sione Tuialamaka.
Yeah, that's why.
I think people have the perception that this is a pass-happy offense, where in reality, it's very close to 50-50 throwing and running here at Oklahoma State.
Which is why I think they're 95% in the red zone. Yeah. If they can get down there, they can run the football.
But on third and goal, they'll throw it, and he's throwing for Blackman. Touchdown!
This just isn't supposed to be as easy as pitch and catch. This is chemistry between a quarterback and receiver, back shoulder throw, going back, and those hands and the strength to reach out and catch. With the left toe was in there.
Yeah. The toe apparently touched out. Golden wanted the incomplete. Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Man,
oh, my goodness.
You know how strong those hands are? That's unbelievable.
You know, Holgerson was telling us before the game that everybody thinks that Blackman's a huge guy, 6'4" or so, because he looks so big and dominant on the field. He's only about 6'1", with remarkable strength, the football speed. He has his second touchdown of the night on an NFL-level grab in the end zone. Just like that, Oklahoma State answers the Wildcat field goal with another Blackman touchdown, and it's 30-10 Cowboys. Oklahoma State of 30-10.
On this touchdown pass, Brandon Whedon is told to aim for the #1 on the back of Blackman's jersey. That's exactly where he throws it. It's a perfectly thrown ball where only Justin Blackman can make the play. Those back shoulder throws and catches, very, very tough to do unless both guys are on the same page.
This is what Blackman has done this season. 12 straight games with 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Set a sophomore record, breaking the one held by Pittsburgh legend Larry Fitzgerald with over 1,700 yards receiving. And Justin's still deciding whether he'll return to Stillwater next year. He redshirted his freshman year, eligible to enter the draft if he chooses. The kickoff comes down to Travis Cobb. The Wildcats need to get busy in a hurry. Cobb gets up across the 30 and close to the 35. Well, looking ahead at the Capital One Bowl on January 1st, this is a near BCS level matchup, Alabama and Michigan State. Michigan State, one of the 3 champions in the Big Ten, but the one all the time. Those two guys have had a good relationship over the years. Nick Foles firing, and it's intercepted for the 3rd time tonight. It is James Thomas with the pick, and Oklahoma State has a chance to put their boot to the throat right now as the Wildcats turn it over again. 4th turnover on the night for Mike Stoops' team.
I think Nick Foles here, he's trying to force the ball in there. The safety's going to come over the top, and we'll try to show you what he sees, because early on the receiver's there, right? And right in past here, okay, now you got to hold on to it. The safety is going to come over, and it forced a hard, low trajectory throw trying to beat that.
To Craig, the throw was late again. He has his receiver open in the slot early. If the ball is thrown on time, that's a big completion. He has not been playing on schedule tonight, and it's cost Arizona.
Again, that shuffle pass, Cooper, and he's knocked down by Paul Vassallo.
But you know what? I know he's trying to make a play. It's there. He's just tardy with the throw. Safety's there to make him have to change his trajectory. I mean, it's, you know, it just has not been a night that has been good for Arizona, and the points off the turnovers themselves are deflating.
We've stopped a couple of drives. We'll see if this turnover results in points for the Cowboys. They've scored 2 touchdowns off them earlier. Whedon to Cooper. Cooper gets close to the 1st down marker before he's stopped by Joe Perkins.
You know, guys, Mike Gundy's an 0-10 all-time against Texas and Oklahoma, and he made the decision this year to stop calling plays, to bring in Dana Holgerson, because he felt his style of offense gave his team the best chance to compete against the heavyweights of the Big 12 Conference. And it was a great decision.
And on 3rd down, Whedon to throw for the 1st down, and he fires wide of Blackman. It'll be 4th down.
You know, and you know, to follow up on that Mike Gundy deal, what a bold move by Mike Gundy to bring Holgerson in. It takes a lot of courage if you're a head football coach to say, look, I'm going to let a guy come in here, turn it over. I don't really understand what he's calling out there, why he's even calling it, but I'm going to trust him, and I'm going to help be the CEO of this football team.
On 4th down, first it looked as if Oklahoma State was going to run the punt team out. The offense came out, so Arizona uses a timeout.
But it was a very selfless move by Mike Gundy, and he put his ego aside. And he told us that he's loved his new role as a head coach. He's spending more time in practice now with the defense, with the offensive scout team. It's allowed him to focus more on recruiting, fundraising. There were times in the past where we'd watch Mike Gundy in games when the defense was on the field. He's over on the sideline drawing up a new play. He had no clue what was going on the sideline. He loves this new role that he's in. He's told us it's the most fun he's had as a head coach at Oklahoma State.
The role of a head coach has changed in college football. It now is about recruiting. It's about handshakes. It's raising money. If you don't have athletes at your program, you're not going to win. If you don't have money at your program, you're not going to win. And I think that's what a CEO of what Mac Brown has done. It's what now Mike Gundy is doing at Oklahoma State.
Look what he's been able to do, particularly in conference right here. Each and every year, there's been marked improvement. Mike Gundy has been able to build this Oklahoma State football team. 3 straight seasons now, they've had at least 9 wins. That's a school record. This is their 5th straight bowl game. That's a school record. Mike Gundy has brought Oklahoma State closer and closer to prominence.
On 4th down, Whedon trying to get it out quickly. He'll throw it to Jeremy Smith underneath, and the Wildcats make a stop. And there's a flag down on the field. If Oklahoma State can hold this lead for the next 19 minutes and 7 seconds of game time, they'll have their school record 11th victory. Arizona came up with the stop, but Mike Stoops does not appear pleased with the call. Once again, Mike's had some frustration tonight in many facets. David Smith of our Conference USA officiating crew sorting it out. Offense is remaining on the field for Oklahoma State right now.
We mentioned earlier the untimely penalties that have plagued Arizona all season long. Doesn't get too much more untimely than this.
Personal foul, face mask, number 40 on the defense. That penalty is 15 yards, first down.
Well, we didn't catch that when Derek Earls was called for the face mask, but one would think that on a play like that, that a face mask would be a totally unnecessary penalty.
Unnecessary away from the play that you're talking about there. And Arizona's defense, they have a stop on the field and have a mistake. And the timeliness that, Jesse, I mean, that just drives a coach crazy. It drives the fans crazy.
So it's a 1st and 10 after the 15-yard penalty for the Pokes. Draw to Randall. He's going to be wrestled down by Vassallo. And to clarify what I meant by unnecessary, there are times you never like to see a face mask, but if a guy's making a tackle, hand gets caught in the face mask, you can understand that. When it's in the secondary, your other guys are chasing the quarterback, that's a little tougher to stomach. Whedon firing for Blackman, and there to break it up immediately is Robert Golden. Golden's had a pretty solid effort tonight in the secondary for the Cats.
This game all of a sudden getting very chippy between these two teams. You can see the tempers starting to flare up a little bit. We've already seen a couple different personal foul penalties on both sides of the ball. Composure is going to be very key here in the second half.
And one that should have been called against Adam Hall of Arizona when he decleated Justin Blackman.
How about chippy this afternoon between Maryland and East Carolina? Huh? Maryland football team wanted to put 50 up as a present, farewell present for Ralph Region.
On 3rd and 9, Whedon firing to the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. Michael Harrison with the grab.
There's a great example of that beautiful long deep pass that Dana Holgerson talks about that Whedon throws so well. Drive hard, separation, ball in the air. What a well-thrown football.
There's different players that can make plays on the perimeter of the field. It's not just Justin Blackman. It's not just Josh Cooper. Michael Harrison gets the mismatch opportunity that Brandon Whedon finds in the pre-snap read. He knows he has press man-to-man coverage.
They're going to take a look at.
After further review, the receiver did not have possession before going out of bounds. Pass is incomplete. Ball will be placed on the 33-yard line.
You saw it rolling there.
Okay, I guess here's the little bobble they're talking about. But I wasn't so sure that he bobbled the ball as much as his arm was just moving across it. The one hand still seemed to have it firmly in control.
Indisputable video evidence, right? The call on the field is touchdown. And, I mean, unless from any of those angles, does it look definitive that that ball touched the ground?
I think right there.
Oh, well, okay. Now maybe.
Like maybe from that angle.
Okay. Yeah, if the ball's hitting the ground right there, because when you go to the ground and go out of bounds, you have to complete the catch. It's a little bit different standard than maybe you'd have out on the field of play. So Harrison thought he had his 4th touchdown catch of the season. Instead, they've got a 4th and 9, and Oklahoma State will trot out the Lou Groza Award winner, Dan Bailey, to try one from 50 yards out. His long this season is 52. Perfect conditions to kick inside. Bailey will try to knock one through with those orange shoes. It's on the way, Good. A 50-yard field goal from the Groza winner, and Oklahoma State extends its lead back to 23. Jen, what is the deal with those neon-colored shoes for Baylor?
Well, Reese, that's exactly what I asked him, as we all cannot help but notice those orange shoes when I saw him this week. I said, what's the deal? He said, you know, I wanted to get shoes to match my uniform, so I went online and I ordered them. But unfortunately, the oranges didn't match, so he seemed a little bit embarrassed. But I have to say, being the Lou Groza Award winner for the best kicker in the nation, they may have brought him some good luck.
He told everybody yesterday at the luncheon in the banquet that he actually ordered those shoes. He didn't think they were orange. He thought they were a different color. So he tried to kind of get his back on that. Greg, I think you should get a pair of orange cowboy boots.
You haven't seen them? Come on down, come see me.
I don't know if our cameras have the capability of doing this, but what I'd like to see is Bailey's shoes and Jesse's socks. Now, you probably haven't seen Jesse's socks, but they look like something the Cat in the Hat wears.
And Pistol Pete's not wearing them.
No, he's not.
Might make people dizzy.
you with those socks, man. You walking around.
I'm just trying to keep you awake. I'm trying to listen. It's late tonight. You're getting tired. You need to wake up. Just look down.
33-10. Bailey's kickoff drives Cobb into the end zone. He's going to bring it out. Cobb trying to turn the corner. Good return.
The country are watching and waiting to see what happens with Coach Rich Rod. The speculation there about his dismissal, if you will. And so that
until after some of the movement is shaken out. And Foles on second down. Underneath, hits his roommate, Douglas, for the first down.
What do you...
Grigsby on the ground. And the other aspect to if he wants to keep this type of system. Grigsby bobbled the ball briefly. It's across the 45-yard line as we head down toward 90 seconds to go in the third quarter.
boy, but
Foles on third down. Nick faked it, and they're going to take a pretty big.
Even if it's only 3 to 5, 7 yards, keep a defense honest.
Foles. Pump and go, throwing deep. It's out there and fighting for the ball, and breaking it up is Andrew McGee.
Fun. Seth Luttrell, very similar to what Dana Holgorsen does in its principal concepts.
Dana having a beverage while his offense rests.
He was having a Red Bull pregame, and I said, how many is that? And he said, this is about my 5th so far. We're about an hour away from kickoff.
that's not what, though, the Arizona defensive staff wants to see is Holgorsen firing down a Red Bull. Getting back to the line of scrimmage in a hurry.
And 5 of those things, he's approaching Ed Orgeron level in terms of knocking down the Red Bull. Woo. Third down, Foles. Nick fires it out, and he's got his freshman receiver, Richard Morrison.
In school history.
Quick completion. Dave Roberts has it. Roberts getting down close to the 25-yard line as we come to the end of the third quarter. Well, just like last year in the bowl game, Arizona's given up 33, but they have 10 on the move and one more quarter to try to get back in it. Here in the Central Time Zone, some awake, some not able to quite make it through right now. A little bit late, but right now it's Oklahoma State in the process of kicking Arizona to sleep. 33-10 is the score as we start the fourth quarter. Greg Nwoko in the first carry. He gets down to about the 20-yard line. Would you like to have seen Arizona do it?
Really struggled to run the football. They were able to get healthy. You would have expected, I think, to see more run plays called earlier in this game.
Another running play with Nwoko. He'll now just turned into a 5-game losing streak. Nwoko on third down, trying to get it to the 15. Where the linesman's running in there, I think he's going to be a little bit short. But a throttling in terms of the score as they go for it on fourth down. Nwoko is going to have the first down across the 15. And that's going to...
But now the question is, what does Mike Stoops have to do to take the next step? And that's why games like this are so important to win, because it's a boon for recruiting in the offseason. Reese, you just mentioned it.
What? Build the facilities, make sure they've got everything that's there, the bells and whistles, the bling for these players. And then once you get the players, if you don't win, then you make a move.
Hugo Chinasa sacks Foles. Oklahoma State's put a lot of pressure on Foles tonight. Now you look at this, and certainly they have a lot to build around with the assumed return of Foles at quarterback. Grigsby hitting down close to the 15-yard line.
And Craig, you and I have been there before as players.
One from 42, missed from 47. This one coming from 34 yards out. Zendejas pushes it wide to the right, and another missed field goal. Or in conclusions from watching conferences play, as you see the Valero Alamo Bowl trophy, which almost certainly will go to Oklahoma State at the end of the night. Only 4 teams from the Pac-10 bowl eligible. Washington barely got bowl eligible. We're watching Arizona tonight, and they're getting hammered pretty good by Oklahoma State. Does that impact your perception? What will happen in the national championship game? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Is Bo bowling another version of the end around that they've run several times tonight, and Bo will get it out close to the 30-yard line. Your thoughts?
I think it supports my belief and a lot of folks' belief that Auburn is far more battle-tested than Oregon. It doesn't mean Oregon's not good and capable of beating anybody, obviously.
Oregon was losing at halftime to this Arizona football team, but I still think Oregon, probably the best second-half team in the country.
Whedon to Joseph Randall. Randall has a first down and gets out close to the 40-yard line.
And I think the Pac-10 is just a top-heavy conference. I think Oregon and Stanford are 2 real teams, but what a matchup in this national title game. Well, Michael James leads the nation in rushing yards per game. Cam Newton, the Heisman Trophy winner, everything he's accomplished. The most resilient team in college football in Auburn. One of the most explosive teams in college football in Oregon. What a dream matchup for a BCS national championship.
It ought to be an offensive showcase in Arizona. We're looking forward to providing wall-to-wall coverage on ESPN.
False start, number 75 on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards, still first down.
But as we lead up to that game and we get out to Glendale and we all watch and observe how Oregon handles the prep, how Auburn handles the media, we're gonna have this tendency to get lulled to sleep thinking Auburn SEC. Man, I'm telling you, Chip Kelly, the 3 of us, we've gone into his meetings the night before a game. He's allowed us in. We know Chip Kelly will have his team mentally and physically ready to play.
And you know, the SEC has been pretty much carryover in terms of momentum or who's playing well at the moment. Time to get to the championship game. Whedon fits it into Josh Cooper, and Cooper takes it across the 50-yard line.
That was a pretty good throw there.
The old baseball pitcher threw a strike.
That was a 92-mile-per-hour fastball to the flat.
You can't throw it any better than this.
It was covered well, too.
And we're all sitting here kind of waiting for this ball to get pick 6, but puts that right on the outside shoulder of Josh Cooper. But you expect that. Here's a guy that's holding every major single season passing record at Oklahoma State this year. He's broken everything.
Here's Whedon to Blackman underneath. And Justin gets knocked down inside the 45. You know, I had to laugh. As we told you earlier, Whedon was a high draft choice by the Yankees in baseball, spent several years playing baseball, and then came back to college football. And after we met with him yesterday, we asked him if his wife, Melanie, was with him, and he said, "Oh, she's here." He said, "But she's out spending my money someplace." I said, "Your money? It's her money. She's the one that works now, man."
She's the sugar mama.
Sugar mama.
That's what he calls her sometimes. Great young man to be around. It's nice to see him have success. Kendall Hunter's having some as he gets inside the 35 and moves the chains. And unless Arizona rises up pretty soon, it's going to get really ugly.
What's interesting about the Brandon Whedon story, he actually sought out Oklahoma State. He had owned a home in Edmond, Oklahoma, not very far from Stillwater, and after all the traveling in minor league baseball, getting some love.
We love the ESPN cameraman. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Hey, Ish, you know what?
It's just
He's going to react to the sign every time. The easiest way to get on TV, kiss up to the cameraman. Blackman has it. You know, this is a neat little variation of like a fly sweep look or a jet sweep kind of thing. He's coming in motion. They flip it. You see Mike Riley at Oregon State use that a lot with James Rogers before he was hurt.
Whoever comes in here to be the offensive coordinator next year is going to have a wealth of experience and understanding of this offense. The foundation has been laid for someone to have a lot of success. Just needs to come in here and continue the rhythm that they have in practice. It's a routine that this offense has. And man, I tell you what, they're going to run the ball next year. Blackman, that's the worry you have about him right there, isn't it? If he doesn't come out.
He had an ankle problem late in the season, but the time off, it helped him. Certainly looked good tonight. Played against Oklahoma. With a bad ankle. Take a look at Justin on the sideline. Still had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Here's Blackman on that
draft. He was on the field on the very last snap of the game when Nebraska was winning 33-0. At some point, when you keep these guys out of the game, you feel comfortable.
A little bit of early contact. Whedon wanted the pass interference call. He was throwing it in for Bo Bowling. Trevin Wade there quickly. No flag was thrown.
But you know what? When you talk about Arizona, and you do need to remember
all game long.
Dan Bailey trying to put more points on the board from 44 yards out, and the Groza winner is perfect again. 3 for 3 on the night, and Oklahoma State is up 36-10 in the fourth on Arizona. Current NFL quarterbacks to hear their thoughts on how the position has evolved over the past year. New Year's Eve, countdown to the year of the quarterback, followed by an encore presentation of the year of the quarterback kickoff special. It's all on ESPN on New Year's Eve starting at 11.
Guys, I'm impressed again with Oklahoma State, their ability to bounce back and get ready for this football game. We talked to a lot of the players. They were hurt after that Oklahoma loss. Brandon Whedon told us he didn't even go back and watch the entire game tape that he played against Oklahoma, and a lot of the players didn't even watch the Big 12 title game, Oklahoma against Nebraska. Mike Gundy has done a great job getting his football team refocused to come out and play a great football game here in the Alamo Bowl.
Foles getting heat, dumps it off to Nwoko. Greg gets it out close to the 30-yard line. 22 years, 11 wins for the first time. Gundy came very close, as you mentioned, Jesse, to winning the Big 12 South. He's going to have Brandon Whedon back next year, almost certainly. Certainly Brandon could go in the NFL draft, but I think the consensus is he'll stick around and get some more time at the position. A big hit delivered by Broderick Brown on the Nwoko.
And a time now that ready to heat up big time. You're coming out with 11 wins, a lot of momentum. Take that into those homes. And you know these kids are watching. They want to be a part of something exciting. He'll tell them about next year's opportunities. Special times at Oklahoma State.
And a new era for Oklahoma State next year as the Big 12 reduces by a couple to just 10 members. And they've got Arizona again, second game of the season.
How about at Texas A&M, at Texas, at Missouri, at Texas Tech? That's not necessarily an easy schedule next year if you're Oklahoma State. But consider what they have coming back. All 5 offensive linemen come back. We've got 14 players on defense that played this year coming back.
Their greatest challenge is going to be what we did to Nebraska last year. The country jumped on the bandwagon about, oh man, Nebraska. And I was one of them. I drank the Kool-Aid big time.
I did as well.
Okay, and so we're gonna sing the praises of Oklahoma State. That offensive line, that quarterback, this receiver, this runner, and you still got to go play the games.
Fellas down in Norman will have a little something to say about that too, I would imagine.
Amen. And they're young and they're talented as well.
Foles got rid of it to Dave Roberts, and he got hammered by Ori Lemon.
How about Texas A&M?
Absolutely.
Next year.
Ryan Tannehill coming back.
And
Very young team.
Nobody wants to play. So, LSU better watch out.
So imagine Mike Sherman's still out developing talent on that team.
And a flag comes down. We're going to get pass interference. Comes in a row. The Pokes will have to go to Texas for the second straight year. Well, things get adjusted in the Big 12. Wide open man, and Foles hits him. It's a touchdown for Richard Morrison. There is a flag in the backfield. It might be a hold, and that's the way it's been for Arizona tonight if this indeed does come back.
Holding, number 55 on the offense.
For the Cats.
Yeah, he does. He's got it. Pretty good lock underneath there. He earned that one.
Missed opportunities, guys. Whether it's 3 interceptions, it's a fumbled punt return, it's 2 minutes. To go reiterate on it, what Mike Stoops told us, sustained good play for 60 minutes. They couldn't do it this year. They could not do it tonight.
My mind's still over on the Big 12 conversation. You know who we didn't even talk about? Texas. 2 new coordinators. We're not even, you know, that tells you right there. That's interesting. That's a conversation.
I heard from Mac Brown a few days ago, and he, you know, Mac's not too fond of being sitting around the house this time of year. He's not accustomed to that. And, you know, with the...
Remember that game I said, man, Greg, I came out of that beat up. We whipped them pretty good. But so I see good feet, man. Greg must have been a player.
Not just good feet, but the ability to bounce back up, get off the ground.
Down.
I kind of, I was like,
get ready. Defensive. He said he embraces it with open arms. Tell me how I can get better. He's made great strides this season as Nwoke gets it down to about the 35-yard line on 3rd down.
Well, Arizona and Nick Foles got great news when they found out the quarterback coach Frank Scelfa was going to be returning this year. There was rumors he might go take a job at Colorado. He might become the head coach at Louisiana Lafayette. But Nick Foles is a guy also that many people think has an opportunity to potentially go to the National Football League this year. And with Frank Scelfa coming back as a quarterback coach, I think that goes a long way in luring Nick Foles to stay for his senior season, give this Arizona team their best opportunity next year.
Yeah, Nick told us, he said, you know, I enjoy being underneath him, learning from him. He doesn't rip me if I throw an interception. He just says, hey, let's go back out there and let's score a touchdown and win this game.
The Iowa game, perfect example. Victory against Missouri. Foles, pressured from behind, just gets rid of it and completes it to Cobb. Cobb still on his feet inside the 20-yard line, and the Cats are continuing to fight. They haven't played well. We've said it a couple of times tonight. They have continued to play hard.
It'd be very end.
Over the middle, and Terrence Miller, sophomore receiver, who's really emerged.
Great career at Oklahoma State on having another nice night.
Grigsby gets inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Ori Lemon's a guy that had his season ended prematurely last year at the start of the year with an ACL injury. We talked to him yesterday. He told us his time off allowed him to rediscover a new love for the game. He came back extra committed, and he's a first-team all-conference player.
3rd in the nation in solo tackles. Quick completion out to Morrison. He was stopped immediately by Johnny Thomas.
I think what gives you a love for the game is when you have competition around you. When players around you make you work hard at practice, you better love the game or you're not going to play. Bill Young has a defense full of talented players. I think they've gotten better as the year's gone on. He's a tremendous coach. Remember, he came here now and came from Miami, and he had a pretty good deal going.
Gundy's about to get wet here, guys. Bryant Ward, Josh Cooper, they've got the bucket of liquid refreshment ready, and they never saw it coming. Ward, the fullback, enjoying himself. He's a senior. It's not like Mike's going to make him run or anything. 36-10 the lead. Oklahoma State on its way to the Valero Alamo Bowl championship. Duck, Mike.
About 2000.
Head on to the Big Ten for next season. All the formations that Dana Holgorsen uses, this is his favorite. Victory formation. Clint Chelf takes the snap, takes a knee, and Oklahoma State is going to be the champions of the Valero Alamo Bowl. Tonight's Capital One player of the game is Justin Blackman. He broke 3 school records tonight, 9 catches, 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Set an NCAA record for consecutive games with 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. And also broke Larry Fitzgerald's record for receiving yards by a sophomore. Other than that, it wasn't really a very good night for Justin.
I think it was a routine night by Oklahoma State. They played well on defense. The offense got their 35 plus. Brandon Wheaton continues to show what he can do. Man, next year he's setting himself up to have a heck of a season.
Oklahoma State wins 11 for the first time in school history. We go down to Jen Brown with Mike Gundy.
Coach, another big game from your duo, Brandon Wheaton and Justin Blackman. What makes them so difficult to defend?
Well, Blackman's so elusive and he's so physical, and Wheaton's got such a great touch on that ball.
But, boy, what a great job by our defense and Dan Bailey.
I was just going to talk about that. You forced 4 turnovers, 3 of them by your defense. Why were they so effective at shutting them down?
Well, they've done a great job throughout the year. They give up some plays, but they force turnovers, and they continue to do it, and that's really what changed the game. And then, again, Dan Bailey being able to punt like he did is really, really good. So I'm really proud of our football team.
You set a school record tonight with your 11th win. I know that Gatorade bath must have felt pretty good over there on the sidelines. What does that mean for your program, that type of an achievement tonight?
Well, our goal is to have an opportunity to win every game we play, and we fell short a couple times this year, but for these seniors to win 11 games, it means a lot. And they'll always have a special place in my heart and our coaching staff's heart, because those guys have paid the price. Nobody gave them a chance, and they won 11 games.
Getting back real quick to Blackman and Weed, and there's been a lot of talk about their NFL prospects. What are your thoughts on the possibility of them going pro?
Well, I think they both need to come back. I think that both of them can mature. I know that they can develop, and they can really, really be good football players next year for our team and for themselves. And then I think they can elevate themselves in the draft. We'll sit down and talk about it, but I really feel like they need to be in college next year.
Thanks, Coach. Great job. Reese?
All right, Jen. So Mike Gundy, if he has those 2 guys back, he'll be one of the favorites in the conference next season as Oklahoma State finishes up its season with its 11th win, 36-10 over Arizona. Sports Center's coming up next. For live coverage of the trophy ceremony, you can log on to ESPN3.com. It's the last game that our entire Thursday night crew will be together intact. It's been a real pleasure, gentlemen.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. Guys in the truck do a fabulous job. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Craig James, Jesse Palmer, Jen Brown, and our entire crew, I'm Reese Davis saying good night.
He's Stan, I'm Neil. Hey, Kevin Garnett goes down. Will he be out for the Celtics? And wait